figure is Benedict of Nursia, who was born 480 AD and died 547 AD. Some challenges were, when he was asked by a community of monks to be their abbot, they poisoned him when his ruling was too strict for them. Some accomplishments are that he is one of the founders of the Western monasticism and laid the foundation for the future. An impact on the church is he started the Benedictine order made of 12 communities of monks in a community where many didn't believe. He created his own rule called the Rule of St. Benedict, which helped to teach monks, priests, sisters, and nuns how he lived and acted. This acted as a structure for the church for years to come. The next key figure is Charlemagne, who was born 742 AD and died 814 AD. The challenges he faced were many bloody battles throughout his lifetime and many struggles. He accomplished things like uniting most of Western Europe for the first time since the Roman Empire and spreading Christianity throughout Europe. His impact on the church was he built a cathedral to store relics, and he had a deep devotion to Mary and made his cathedral on Ancient Lady Chapel. He started the Carolingian Renaissance, which was a movement for the preservation of culture. Our last key figure is St. Boniface, who was born 672 AD and died 754 AD. Some challenges were he had to face missionary labor with horrible conditions that endangered his life and was killed for his faith and became a martyr. Some accomplishments were creating a hierarchy with the help and guidelines of the Holy See, and his impact on the church was that he taught others not to idolize false gods like Thor and even cut down trees that they worshipped and built a church on that ground. He wanted to show that religion was victorious. Finally, he restored order to priests that were living heretical and sinful lives.
The fall of the Roman Empire, Christianity was at risk. The Roman Empire not only helped spread Christianity in the past, but it was the main reason it stayed alive. After the fall of the empire, Christianity suffered. During the rise of Christendom, church leadership took action by spreading the faith to barbarians. Monks were also very important in the process. The result was a new Christian society that lived out the faith and kept it alive. After the time period, with new people supporting and spreading the faith, Christianity was kept alive and the church continued to form parts of its history. Before the start of the Crusade, Mohammedan tyranny had spread into the Holy Land. This time period was also full of heresies. Crusades were a series of battles meant to combat these heresies and reclaim the Holy Land, while also converting many non-believers. In the eyes of some, the Crusades tarnished the image of the church because of their violent nature. However, in terms of church history, the Crusades preserved the church and allowed it to live past yet another threat. Before the schism, the Council of Chalcedon rejected Canon 28, which granted jurisdiction to Constantinople. This created tension early on. The tensions, along with other disagreements, led to the eventual Eastern-Western split of the Church. Distinction between the Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church continues today and will likely continue on.
The following are two pivotal heresies. The use of statues and the other representations of Christ in the Church were being questioned as potential idolatry. The issue was addressed in the Second Council of Nicaea in the 8th century and was resolved with the establishment that their use was not a form of idolatry because they were only being used to revere Christ and not objects themselves. The second heretical issue were the teachings of Peter Bruys. He taught against infant baptism, praying for the dead, veneration of the cross, and much more. It was resolved in the 12th century by the Second Lateran Council, which countered and condemned the teachings of Peter Bruys, as well as enacted the Reformation suggestions of St. Bernard. The people involved were Peter Bruys, St. Bernard, and Pope Innocent II.
Fourth Council of the Lateran was held in 1215 at Rome's Lateran Palace. It was overseen by Pope Innocent III. It was one of the most imposing councils in the Middle Ages because it had 400 or more bishops, 800 abbots and priors, and numerous ambassadors from all the kingdoms. It was called because the Pope saw that there was an issue with trying to raise the standard of lay and clerical life. At the council, all the attendees had to do confession of serious sin and receive the Eucharist. Here they stated all the conditions for valid election of bishops, qualifications that must be met for people to be admitted to the clergy, and regulated styles of dress and types of lifestyles that were allowed for clergy members. Another issue was for the Pope to reorganize the papal curia because so many demands for change were being made. There were 3 new sections added to the papal. The first was the chancery, which dealt with records and bulls, then the camera, which dealt with finances, lastly was the judiciary.